Yes, from Jordan to the Gulf, and a very important Gulf tour for His Excellency to Kuwait, to Qatar and Kuwait, and seeing eye to eye vis-a-vis the regional developments and reviving the peace process and giving an impetus forward to the peace process. How do you assess the results of this important Gulf tour, Ambassador?
Well, it was very important. There were talks about Egyptian new proposition to call on maybe a comprehensive ceasefire that will contain the exchange of prisoners and hostages and move further towards the reconstruction phase and a long period of 7 years. I think the proposition posed by the President and taken to Qatar has been discussed yesterday with Mark Rubio, the Foreign Secretary, as well as Steve Witkoff, the envoy for the Middle East. It seems that before the visit on the 13th to the 18th of May of President Trump to Saudi Arabia, where he is invited to a few other leaders, as I understood, things has to be settled, or the Israelis has to accept a ceasefire of some sort. What Netanyahu is playing is quite obvious now, even to his people who are resenting this approach of continuing war to keep power. Otherwise, the second phase of the January agreement was to lead to a permanent ceasefire, which will put the right wingers and Netanyahu on top of them to trial. Because of the neglect of the 7th of October, a trial for 5 corruption case that is on the Israeli courts. So what we are heading for, I hope, is a different approach to the current situation in Gaza, which is unbearable to the Israeli families, to the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank. Don't forget that they are doing bad things in the West Bank, including attacking religious places, preventing announcement. Today, President Mahmoud Abbas led the Palestinian Central Committee, one of its their highest organs, and I think they are moving. What is lacking now is to push the Israeli situation to move and meet minds. The Americans have positively talked to the Iranian, and I think a deal can be seen soon, and the Israelis will be left to their right wing and to their wars.
Yes, we can see here excerpts of His Excellency's tour to the Gulf countries. And
yes.
As we can see from Qatar and also Kuwait, seeing eye to eye vis-a-vis the economic also and investment projects between both countries. It's very important, you know, as the whole world are forming economic blocks, that we are also cementing investment and economic ties with Arab and Gulf countries as well.
I think this is very important. The President, wherever he go, raised the economic approach to relations, and I think the investments from Qatar and Gulf nations, Kuwait and the Saudis and the Emiratis has proven to be very lucrative and important. For that, I think they know the Egyptian market and how important and growing this market is, and I'm sure that more to expect from our Gulf brothers and Gulf nations. But let me take you to the previous question when we talked about the Iranian-American discussions, which seems going into the right directions, and the Americans attempt to bring peace and tranquility and security to the Ukrainian file. Back again to Gaza, I think the region is not gonna respond to the attacks by the right-wingers in Israel or Netanyahu. The region should look towards an integrated approach to their future peace and security. The structure of a peace and security organ similar to the European Peace and Cooperation conference is very important. The Helsinki rules is similar to what we have to attain here in our region, where Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, even Iran will create an integrated economic zone where they can talk security, politics, based on, and economic development based on certain principles and rules. And for Israel, when they recognize the Palestinian states, they can join this regional forum. And this is what is lacking in the Middle East, which is the only region in the world that has no political harmonized peace and security and cooperation structure. And this is what I proposed many times. I wrote about it, and I think this is the key to the stability of the Middle East, and that has to be sold to the European and to the Americans, and for the wise men, if they are any of them in Israel.
Yes, the situation in Israel, and we're seeing